Well, YouTube, I wanted to go over some stuff for sight here. And before I get into this, I'd like to say that the last video I did on the Delphi Murders and the new documents, more like new BS, full of BS. BS, BS, BS. The only thing that interested me in that article was the damn it. I had the word earlier. Substantial amount of blood came out of the girls. Now, not only do I think, that they should release more on this video. Excuse me, a little yawn there. On these videos, the video or the recording, whatnot, what was said by Bridge Guy and recorded on the phone. Well, another interest is made, to me about a meat plant that was, and it was a meat plant. I wasn't sure if it was, but it was. But in some ways, it's starting to come together, starting to make some sense. And I sit here and look at this map as we will go over this. There is Delphi. There's the Monon High Bridge, the trail. And when you come down here, Indiana Packers Corporation. I guess I looked this up, and supposedly this place runs 24 hours. 24 hours, folks. 20 for meat. I looked up on the map, went on the pictures, and like down here, if you scroll down and it shows the Indiana Packers Corporation and you go down, it says open 24 hours. Very interesting. Very interesting. Because if you think about it, I don't know how they run it there, 9 to 5, or say so, 7 to 11, 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 7, or 11 to 7 in the morning, whatever the case may be. One thing is about this, and it would make damn perfect sense if Mr. BG worked there, meat packing. And I'm for damn sure they cut beef there also. I don't know how this thing works. But if there's anything in the world that will screw up DNA, and the reason why they won't, have it tested is because if there is clothing or DNA on the girls, would be that this person went, and who knows, could have been dressed like on the phone shows. But what if what was in his coat, maybe a bloody, maybe, there could be a gun, but there looks like there's more. You know what? This is just barreling through my head. And these are my thoughts, theories, ideas. This is not the truth. This is not the thing. This is not the answer. But now that I'm thinking of it, and we're talking about say so. They're talking about brown fanny packs or a fanny pack that was wrapped around the waist of bridge guy. What about this thought, theory, idea? Now everybody, I'm sure, is way known of the 1974 hit Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And the newer version of the movie, which would have had the sergeant there from Full Metal Jacket. Sorry, I forget his name, but huge fan of that guy. But they labeled the the baby that got thrown in the beginning of the movie as Leatherface, which that is not where they got the idea for Leatherface. Of course, it was a guy named Eugene. But in that movie, they show Mr. Leatherface with a butcher's apron on. What if BG had a bloody apron? Under that coat, or rolled up in the coat, because it would look like it was puffy with something hanging out of it. That would make some sense. Now, wouldn't it? And they're saying now the bodies were tampered with, moved. But as you can see, a plant open 24 hours. Great access to the bridge. And it all rolls up into one ball, folks. That if this person is who they say it is, worked in this meat plant, what is the weight on testing every individual in that plant? For DNA, for one. For two, who would crack under pressure if they went up in there and started their investigation? Pushing the pressure. That we know that you, but then again they say in the articles I showed, or the report that's came out, and I showed my last video, that we can just not point the finger at that person. So, why? Because he had a butcher's apron on that carries, obviously, seriously amounts of blood on it from animals. And if you use that apron at a murder, and what if they said in the report that they seen signature, oh no, this thing I'm going to show you, actually not the report, sorry, this article. Let me show you this article on Reddit. 1 year ago it said, let's get to this. 1 year ago, posted by Soulful Fish. 1 year ago. Now, of course, today, curiously, I looked up Bridge Guy in the meat factory because I wasn't sure if someone had said right there that he worked there and blah, 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 but obviously he did. Show you the packing factory near the friggin', and it says it in this article about the packing place being not too far from the bridge, as you can see on the mapping. So this person goes on to say that, so I know that BG is potentially being linked to the meat packing place. Has been brought up here a few times. But I've been thinking and digging, and this is this person's right thoughts on this. And here are a few things to consider of the age of the 44 registered sex offenders in Delphi. 44, mind you, holy shit. Over half of them work at the plant. This information is publicly available on the county sheriff's website. Even if it wasn't one of them, we at least know that the plant hires felons. Isn't that nice to know? RSOs. So it's reasonable to suspect the bridge guy could have ties to it, especially since it seems to be the consequence, the consensus, the BG consequence there, that BG had some kind of sexual motive, was a repeat offender, but they said this wasn't a sexual rape type case, but to do other things that turn rapist on. And mind you, there was someone caught, and this is a perfect example. And I don't think anybody caught up on this, but WZLX and Kevin from WZLX, the main man that I go through for my getting me on for my ghost hunting stuff, mentioned a very valid point about this sex fetish guy that was going around letting air out of women's tires and pouring water in their gas tank or oil or something. Their car breaks down, and this was in Massachusetts just about 3 weeks ago, folks. And he was going around asking if they needed help. Oh my God, and how freaky fucked up this situation is. The guy was telling the women to pump the gas, all right? Now, if anybody don't know this and you're a youngin', back in the day, they required you in your car, because it was carbureted, ran, not all this fuel injection bullshit, to pump your gas to, get a little gas flow through the carburetor to spit out some gas in it. Starts right up. And this guy was telling these women to do this in fuel-injected cars. Pump the gas a little bit. He had a fetish to listen to women pump their gas pedals. And there was something else he did, and he was arrested for in the rain and whatever, and went through his court bullshit and got out of it. But this was something new. And it was like, wow. So I can just imagine what this BG had a fetish for. And if he is a sex offender, well, hey, it doesn't mean he can have that fetish of what he likes to do to girls to get off with himself. Sick to say, but to catch a killer, you got to think like a killer. And sometimes that extreme measurements of thought has to bring you somewhere. Seems to be, so the packing plant is only 6-minute drive from the bridge. And according to Google Maps, it wouldn't be difficult for bridge guy to leave during break or something. Whether he was going on shift or got off the shift. And you do supposedly, I don't know, I'm sure it is around the whole United States, but you have an hour of break. Every place requires an hour of break. Punch out. Do what the hell you want. If you're going to have lunch, you're going to have lunch. You're going to go murder someone, that's what you're going to do. Well, hey, who knows what this guy didn't, thought, think, didn't say, right? And then return to work. Also, someone working that close by would likely know how about the bridge and know the trails well, which of course I've already said it, and I'm sure it has been said multiple times that whoever this guy is knows the area, and yes, knew what he was doing when he, stalked these girls for whatever reason and made his move when he knew the time was right. And right, he may look so bulky because he was wearing street clothes over PPE that would be normally be wearing while working. Now, before I even read this, I thought of that of myself. I didn't even read the whole thing on this yet. And that's exactly baggy clothes over a... And if that brown thing is not a pouch, that brown thing that you see in the video could be the butcher's say-so bib. What the fuck? Now I forgot the damn name of it. What the butchers wear over when they're chopping up animals so they don't get all the blood from the animals on them. A giant body bib, call it, right? And it hasn't officially been confirmed, but I get the feeling based on law enforcement, etc., that the scene was pretty bloody. If he took off his street clothes, killed the girls in PPE, and then put them back on, he could easily cover up any blood or and nobody would blink an eye at his whatever clothes PPE would be wearing. I call it the what the hell is it called? God damn it! It's not a bib. It's a freaking, oh man, God damn it! The freaking, well, it's just called a body bib. I just had it and I said it and I completely forgot it. But that damn covering that butchers wear, and you see it in, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And when he goes back to the factory, takes off them clothes, he's got that on, doesn't matter what kind of blood's on it. Because once he starts going back to work, chopping up the damn friggin' beef, he's going to be full of blood anyways. And then them things are made where you can, hose them down, wash them down, whatever. And that's right. It's unlikely the girls were shot. Yes, he might have had a gun. I will not disclose that. He had the radio to hear the friggin' police scanner. And all he had to do was use that gun to scare the girls. He didn't have to shoot nobody, even though there was multiple people on the trails that day, claiming there was multiple peoples on that trail. Not seeing a bridge guy anywhere, though, that was said. But if you got some of the nosy area in and out, going over by the cemetery, and you don't hear the gunshot, no, you know what? He's a butcher. He's a friggin' butcher in a meat factory, and he did this throat slitting. Where they, like I said in my last video, there's a certain way that you gotta kill goats to make it legal, and it's here in the United States, mind you, because I read up on a restaurant I went into. I wanted to know why they were selling goat meat. Because out of all the, and I wanted to know where they were from, and they're from Israel, I believe, the restaurant, and they say that the only way they can sell some of their meats in restaurant and do a restaurant business here, they literally got to do it properly, and they got to slit the goat's throat the right way, or you cannot use the meat. It was something crazy I read while I was waiting for the order. And I was like, damn. And I had someone add me on Twitter, mind you. He's from India. And, I'm not racist, so hey, hell, I'll add him. Fuck it. Boom. Put him on. Following. And in one of his videos, mind you, and I want to say he might be from India, but he's out from the Middle East. It could be Israel. But it's like, dude, he's got a video up of dude stepping on the back of a goat's neck over a hole, putting the goat's neck over the hole and slitting it, let the blood go in the hole. And I'm like, oh, geez, well, that's where they get this restaurant business and how they can sell goat here. And I'm for damn sure that's what they do here at their restaurant. Sorry if I messed up, you want to go eat there, but I didn't say the name of the restaurant. But the name of it, I looked up, and I'm not going to do that to him, but if you see goat put somewhere, well, hey, sorry if I ruined anything on you, yeah. But this could be it. Find that meat cutter. Get your ass out there to the meat place. Bear with me. So anyways, as we're going over the signatures that were apparently at the scene, if the wounds were unusual or something, and since law enforcement thinks someone knows who didn't and just hasn't spilled the beans, it could be that the RSO from the plant either knows about the crime or was somehow involved in it. doesn't want to talk for the fear of going back to jail or whatever the case may be. But you know what? Here's a person that is into meat cutting. And if this is true, then I think we have our guy. Because you know what? If you start putting pressure on this plant, but then again, it's been since 2017, 5 freaking years. He could already have been up and gone and moved somewhere else. Or maybe, but I guarantee this sucker will be going and relocating, but who knows if he might relocate to another meat plant. Whether he was in another town at a meat plant or this meat plant, or let alone he just isn't experienced in all this meat butchering. But that's what caught my eye in that documents in my last video was the substantial amount of blood loss. And the only way I can think that if they got in themselves, and then of course law enforcement is not even saying what they did and what they found. They're not saying if their throats were slit. They just said they were in positions, murdered, stabbed, or whatever the hell was said. It is not saying how. Literally how. All I know is that it is coming a little bit clear. And now things are starting to seep out of the barrel. The sealed barrel. But things don't like to be sealed for long periods of time. Because the corrosion will erupt. Things will start getting uneased. And then you'll have that question that needs to be answered. And it's stuff like this that makes you think. Substantial amount of blood. Like I say, in order to kill an animal right, to cook it, you gotta drain it of all its blood the right way, properly. And India and Israel don't hide what they do. Like I say, I got a video. Oh, that's the thing about the video. And the guy, yeah, he had that friggin' goat in a hole. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell are you showing this for? But, hey, that's the way of life. And there's sometimes things that you got to go through life to check out, to put the piece of the puzzle together. Right? Right. So, I don't know, man. A lot of funky stuff going on out there in Delphi, let alone Indiana or Indianapolis. That whole state, some crazy shit. And the trafficking too, man. Sick. Drug trafficking, child trafficking. It's, when's this shit ever gonna end? When's this nightmare ever gonna end and people put a stop to this? I hope the hell the YouTubers that are setting up people, meeting with them, and catching out their dirty, nasty, disgusting deeds, and get them off the street. One at a time. Social media should be checked daily. 24 hours a day. You can make law enforcement have shifts on that. Nothing but reading up on this website. All kinds of websites. Perverts is what we're looking for. They need more of them. Set them up. Get them out there. Nail their things to the stump. Set it on fire. and ask them the question of, you either get rid of that dirty piece you've been using or you lose your life. That's the way you take care of a sex offender. You take away their junk. You get rid of it because it's no use. Them people are not going to get better. They're going to get worse because when you throw them in jail, they're only stuck in a cell with another sex offender. And then they're in there talking their dirty tales of what they did to each and every victim. And that makes it even more worse. That's what happens. That's what happens. Then that's why you hear, if you're not a jail fanatic and you don't know nothing about it, and you talk about people, oh, they can't go in population. They need to go to PC, which is protective custody. Why? Because that mother effer had done something very bad, which you shouldn't have done. And when they get the population, you're not a good fan. Yeah, people don't like you in there. That's right. They want to hurt you bad, let alone let you live. Especially you perverts out there. If Vigilante would start doing its job, or the law most likely should be doing their job about these perverts, you know what? This place would be a better place to live. What's very interesting, folks, the meat place. How he can maneuver and get in and out with all kinds of blood on him. And that damn fanny pack that everybody talking about around his waist. Now, what if it's that meat cutter's bib? What the hell is that goddamn thing called? That pissing me off. That's what happens with me sometimes. I get that word or something in my head and I remember it and I don't want to forget it and I end up forgetting it anyways. Damn it. But you know what I'm talking about. And I say, man, nothing brings out the reality of horror films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Whatever this guy was thinking. Hopefully, this is something they'll have bridge guy BG, big goofball, thinking that if you are a butcher, yeah, bring your knives, boy. Bring your knives. 'Cause I want to play. Show you how to use them. Is that what you are, butcher? Huh? Apron. That's what it is. The butcher's apron. Apron. Of course, they use like leather aprons. But an apron. Is that what you are, butcher? Butcher guy. Not bridge guy. Butcher. Getting close to this yet? I don't know. Till next video, be safe, take care, and always remember, whether the evidence comes out sooner than you think, until we get that DNA tested, until we know certainly who BG is, he's still out there, wandering. I mean, hopefully, don't get me wrong, Sean Harmer's father was BG and he's dead in his grave, but the way things are going around here, folks, I don't know. But it's something to think about. That's right. Out.